Hey makers, welcome back to the Makers Guild podcast. So excited to have you here again for this, the third episode of the podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the sweet spot. So very excited to be talking to you guys about this today because I think that you're going to get some really valuable information, some nuggets that can help you to guide your business to become more successful. I'm Conrad Dole. I am a woodworker myself. I also am a business strategist. I run Makers Guild, and my goal is to empower makers and creators to succeed in their creative businesses. And so that's what this podcast is about, and I really want to dig into this whole concept of the sweet spot. I got this from Mike Michalowicz in his book, The Pumpkin Plan, which, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of The Pumpkin Plan. It's had a big impact on my business, and you can go so deep with the tools here to really grow a successful maker business. I think it's the difference between kind of a collection of a whole bunch of random sort of strategies and tactics that we can employ to try to, get more sales and that sort of thing, and a real kind of strategic business that is really designed to succeed from the beginning. So that's what this sweet spot diagram is all about. And so let's get into it here. So you can see we've got the three circles of the sweet spot, and these represent the different kind of aspects of our business. And when we get all of these parts working together in our business properly, and we've done a good job of getting everything here working, we're going to land in this great location here, which is the sweet spot. And this is kind of where everything starts to flow more easily in business, where we're not kind of fighting for every new customer and grinding out for every dollar and all that stuff. This is the place that we want to be. And the way we get there is by getting these areas of our business in alignment. Let me just talk about what these are. So the first one is top clients. This is our top clients. This is our target market. This is who our business serves. Okay, then we have in this circle here, the upper right, is our unique offering. So this is the things that we offer, that we sell to our customers, and the way that we're unique. And I really like that this is all about uniqueness, because if we're just the same as everyone else out there, it's going to be hard to be able to get the margins and to differentiate ourselves and stand out from the crowd. So this is important. Now, the final area here is systems or systemization. So this is systems in our business that allow us to kind of create the results over and over again for our top clients. Now, as makers and creators, I know when I heard this, I kind of thought systems, that doesn't sound creative to me. Trust me, we'll get there, and it's going to be okay. There's still plenty of room for creativity inside this system. But what I want to talk to you a little bit right now is kind of the way this works and how we can actually kind of use it to diagnose our businesses a little bit, of where we should sort of focus on next, or where we need to shore up if one of these areas is weak. So what's going to happen here is, if we have some of these operating but not others, it's going to show up as problems in our business. And so the first example here would be, let's say we've done a really good job of marketing, tailoring our business towards our top clients, and we've created a great unique offering. So we got the top clients, we got the unique offering, but we're really not systemized. And this is, I think, a place where a lot of maker and creative businesses end up being. And what happens then, that's kind of this overlap area here without having this part. And what happens there is we're really having to grind for all our dollars. Like every dollar we make is a bit of a battle. It's sort of the dollars for hours kind of approach. It's hard to get any leverage. It's hard to make any profit here. We're really grinding it out. So that's if we have top clients and unique offering figured out. Now, let's say instead we have systemization. We've got some pretty good systems in our business, And that might be like in a woodworking shop, you got a good collection of jigs and everything to be able to crank out the products that you sell, and you're really good at dealing with all the quotes and everything that comes in, or whatever it might be in your business. But you've got it systemized, and you know who you're targeting, and you're doing a good job of targeting them. But your offering is just not unique. You're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. Like an example of this might be, I noticed in my community one time, there was a post somebody was looking for, sort of one of those fun kind of kitschy signs or whatever that you might put up in your house, and there were like 27 different companies that responded to that post that saying that they could make this sign. So right there, it's going to be really hard for any of those 27 companies to stand out and be unique, right? So if you've got the systems and you've got the top clients, but you don't have a unique offering, then you're going to deal with price pressure, right? So you can imagine what those companies had to quote for, like which company won that contract or whatever, or the job to make the custom sign or whatever. They must have had to bid so low because they were competing against 27 different companies, and like the only way to really stand out would be to lower the price. So if you're stuck in this position where you're always battling for trying to get a decent price, then maybe you have to work on your unique offering. Now let's say you've got the unique offering, you're creating something really unique, and you've got it systemized. So you're doing a great job of cranking out some really unique product, and you're able to do it like super efficiently, and you've got it systemized. But if you don't have your top clients sorted out, and you don't have your target market figured out, then what you're going to experience is your marketing is going to fall on deaf ears. It's going to be like nobody cares about what you have to do. All your Instagram posts and all your advertisements and everything like that, it's like nobody cares, nobody's listening. And that's because we haven't got the top clients figured out. We're not able to speak their language. We're not able to market where they are located, and we're not able to grab anyone's attention. And so those are kind of the three areas: dollars for hours, or having to grind it out, or here price pressure, or in here we're dealing with crickets, right? And so that's kind of the idea with the sweet spot. Now if we can get all three working together, then it works out really beautifully, because we've got the top clients, so we're having the right message to the right people in the right place, right? Then we've got a unique offering. We're standing out from everyone else in that industry. Like there's not people competing with us really. We're doing something really unique. And we've been able to systemize our business so that we can kind of crank out the products, and all the different things that happen in our business are sort of flowing smoothly, let's put it that way. Then we're going to be in a sweet spot. We're going to get response to our marketing. We're going to be able to command a high price, and we're going to be able to produce things in a way that is not necessarily we're just 100% tied to our hours that we put in our business, that we get some leverage because of that systemization. Then we can actually make some real profits in our business and create something really amazing. So this is the place that I would love for all of us to be able to make it to, and this is what I'm striving towards in my business right now. And so what I want to do here is I want to dive in deeper into these three areas so that we can kind of get some more clarity about what it is that we need to do, depending on which one that we need to focus on. And the place that I would like to start is in the upper left corner, because that's just the way we do things here, upper left corner, and that is top clients. So let's talk a little bit about top clients, and why does it matter that we have a very clearly defined kind of target market, that we know exactly who it is that we're targeting with our business. It's so vitally important, and it was a big mistake that I have made in the past, and I think it's really common for us makers, because we just kind of, you first start out your business and you're looking for anyone to buy what you make, right? And so If it starts with, family and friends, well, just like whatever those types of people happen to be like, that's who the clients are, and then they refer to us kind of random people as well. Like it's not that it's bad doing business with anyone or what, family and friends and that sort of thing. But if we don't define it, then we can really sort of get ourselves into a bad place in our business. And so let's talk about some of the benefits of having a really clearly defined target market. So having your top clients figured out, if you know exactly what's the demographic of your top clients, and these are like the ideal people, like if you could have the best kind of that, if you could just pick any, for the perfect customer for your business, kind of taking into account what we've talked about in the last 2 episodes, our immutable laws, the vision, the uniqueness that we have as a business. If we can take all those things into account and find that kind of ideal person to work with us, then what's that person like? What's their demographic? What's their psychographic? I don't know if any of you guys have heard about this kind of idea of the psychographic, but like, how do they think? What are they interested in? What do they like to do? Where, it's not just about kind of the demographics, which is good, which is like age and gender and where they live and those types of things. It kind of gets deeper into what they value, what do they care about, what inspires them, what's exciting to them, what makes them willing to, sort of fork out the big bucks for your work. And so you need to define that as clearly as you can. Now, there's some really exciting aspects to figuring out our top clients when it comes to the profitability of our business. And that really relates to that 80-20 rule. And I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of this 80-20 rule, but the idea is that 20% of the inputs kind of or causes result in 80% of the outcomes or the results. So this was, the Pareto principle, if you've heard of that. It's also called a power law, and it's really incredibly powerful to use it to analyze our customers. So one of the things that we can do is kind of go, hey, if we've been in business for a while and we haven't really defined our top clients, and we've been serving a bunch of different people, then one of the things that we can do to figure out who our top clients are is we can analyze all the clients that we've had over the past whatever time frame that you want to pick, and figure out who are the small percentage of those clients who resulted in the biggest sort of percentage of our profits, but not just profits, but also kind of like the best people that we've worked with, the people who we've loved working with the most, the people who share kind of our vision and that work really well with us. So I'm thinking about the people who align well with our immutable laws and the people who align well with our vision. So some of the things that we can do is we can take a look at the revenue that each profit generated for us, and we can rank them according to that. But then, that's revenue is an interesting number, but the number that really matters is profit margin, right? Is like how much actual profit did we make off of those jobs? Because sometimes some clients can bring in high revenue jobs, but then due to kind of, the process of working with them, sometimes some people are super picky and require all kinds of changes and that sort of thing, and it eats into our profit line, or they push us for price, they really battle away on our price or whatever it might be, and we actually have a lower kind of profit margin that we make off of them. And so another way to rank kind of our customers is to do it by profit, and I think that's a really good way to go. But then it's also worth adding in some other factors, like the one that I love from Mike Michalowicz is, what's the cringe factor? So if this particular, as you analyze those clients, if each of them, if you were to receive a phone call from them right now and you're seeing their name come up on the call display, how excited or how cringy do you feel answering that call? Are you kind of like, oh, gritting your teeth, like, oh man, here we go? Well, that client is not super fun to work with, obviously, and they're causing you pain, and so that's something that's worth taking into account. Or what about those clients that, like, whenever they call or text or whatever, boom, you're on it, you answer right away, you drop whatever it is that you're doing because you just love working with them, and you just have a great connection with them. So that would be really important. It'd be great to have more clients like them, right? And then we can also look at some other things like how good are they at paying us? Do they pay us on time? Do they pay us up front? Do they, battle us over the price? What are some of the other things? Oh yeah, like how quickly do they decide on projects? How many sort of revisions do they require? Like all those things. Take into account all the things that relate to working with a client in order to find the ones that are our top 20%. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of rank all of our clients by that. And this sounds kind of harsh or whatever, that you wouldn't like necessarily have all your clients being equal. But the reality of the reality is that some of the clients are a better fit for us as businesses, as individuals, especially as makers and creators. As creative types, we're going to work well with some people and not so well with other people. I mean, this goes across the board, I suppose, but I feel like sometimes it affects us a little more as creative type people, where we're pouring ourselves into our work, right? And so I think it's really important to take all that stuff into account. So what we want to do is rank all of those customers, and a lot of times what you'll find is a small number of your clients account for a large percentage of your profits. And of course, the difficulty comes when those same few clients are the ones who are also, your cringe clients, because then you've got a problem that you're going to need to figure out how you're going to address that. But in a lot of cases, you're going to find that there's some alignment there between the people that we love working with and the profit. Not always the case for sure. So you're going to have to do some work to kind of figure out who those top clients are. But then what you're going to want to do is, once you've sort of identified, say, like the top 5 people who are your ideal clients, is you want to analyze them to kind of see what makes them similar. Like, what was similar? Did they buy the same product from you, or did they, are they the same type of people? Did you find them in the same sort of places? Like, what's similar about those people? And if you can find what's similar about them, then that can help you to kind of get that profile of what your top clients are like. And the math is really powerful if your business follows anything close to a power law, which is where a small number of your clients result in a large percentage of your profits. If it's anywhere close to 80-20, and it may not be that high, but even as low as 60-40, you're going to notice some dramatic results. So if you were to, say, be in a position where you had an 80-20 with your clients, where 20% of your clients resulted in 80% of your profit, let's just make up some kind of example numbers here to imagine what it would be like. So if you were to say that you had 100 clients and you made $100,000 last year, but if the 80-20 rule applied, that would say that 20 of those clients resulted in 80% of your profit. So that would mean that those 20 clients produced $80,000 for you, and the other 80 clients only produced $20,000. And you can see how this happens a lot of times. Like, I often have these tiny little projects that I do one-off for a client, and I don't really make that much money off of it. And then there's a few clients that I do, larger clients and higher value or projects or higher value jobs, and so I end up making a larger percentage of my profits are coming from a small number of people. And so if you can now what becomes really powerful about this that I really love is that imagine if you were to take those 20 clients who produced 80% of your revenue, and you were to find more people like them. If you could sort of multiply those people, because you find out what kind of makes them all similar and what they all have in common. And if you can find that out, and then you can find more people like them, if you can market to them, you can speak their language, if you can get referrals from your top clients of people like them, if you can figure out where they hang out and advertise to them in that place. And at the same time, if you were to be able to sort of eliminate the other 80 clients that kind of didn't produce that much profit for you, and also probably produced a lot of your pain and suffering from the cringe factor, slow paying clients, clients who complain about everything that you do, that sort of thing. If you were to get rid of those and replace them with your sort of A-list clients, First of all, just ignoring the profit, just imagine how much better your business would be, how much less painful it would be, how much more you would enjoy doing your work. I actually have a friend who's just been in the process of doing this, and he's been eliminating gradually his really painful to work with clients and replacing them and changing the type of work that he does as a result. And it's been already, he's experiencing just a lot more joy in his work. And so, so imagine that. But now let's do the math. So if we were to say that those 20 clients produced 80% of our revenue, and in this imaginary scenario, that's $80,000. So that means the average client there produced $4,000, right? So then if we were to get rid of the other 80 clients and we were to clone the 20 ideal ones 5 times, so that we had now, again, we have the same number of clients, we've got 100 of them now, but they're all our top clients. Instead of making $100,000, we would instead make, do the math, $400,000, which is absolutely a mind-boggling amount of profit. Now, I know that's an extreme example, and I'm doing that to kind of make the point. But even if you could get half of that result, and you could get rid of some of your most painful clients and replace them with awesome clients that you love working with, and you could potentially end up doubling your income or something like that. It's definitely going to increase your income, right? Or it's very likely going to increase your income. Now, of course, there's going to be some growing pains there as you shift your business, and it's not necessarily going to just happen overnight and be the easiest thing in the world to do, but you can see the power of that and why you'd want to move towards that. Top clients. Okay, so I think I belabored the point enough that top clients are super important and we need to get that figured out. Now, let's get into just a little bit of what happens once we have our top clients figured out. Well, what we want to do, once we've kind of defined that top client, maybe we've created a top client avatar. You can Google customer avatar to learn about how you can do that. Say you've defined that top client, you've analyzed it, and you've figured out who your top clients are. What do we do? What do we do with that? How do we act on that? So this goes across our entire business, from A to Z, from top to bottom. We want to tailor our entire business to be completely focused on delivering the very best products we can deliver for our top clients. We want it to be completely custom and tailored specifically to our top clients. We want our message to be sort of targeted to our top clients. We want to be advertising the places where our top clients are hanging out. We want our products to be specifically tailored to our top clients. We want them to be priced for our top clients. We want our customer service to be geared towards our top clients. We want our whole customer experience to be, tailored to them so that they have an amazing experience with us. And we just want to make sure that everything in our business is completely focused on serving our top clients as best as we possibly can, and just delighting them and blowing their minds, and just making it so that they can't even imagine working with another customer or another business, because we just get them. We completely know what they want and are doing it. That's the thing that is going to just really make this powerful. And this gets into the whole unique offering thing, right? We're jumping a little bit ahead about that, but I think they're so strongly linked. But then even with our systemization, like how do our top clients like to be communicated to? Like, do they like to be phone, they like phone call, or do they like a one-on-one meeting, or do they like a text message? Like what is the way that they like to be communicated? We build our systems around that. How do they like to pay? How do they like to be built? How do they like to manage the project? Do they want to, do they want lots of communication, a little communication? Like what do they want? What do our top clients want? And how can we serve them the very best? And what works for one type of person might not for another type of person. So that's why we want to really tailor it to our top clients. Now, the way that we can sort of take the knowledge of who our top clients are and learn how to kind of tailor our whole business around that is by doing something called wish list interviews, which you can learn about in the Pumpkin Plan. And it's so powerful. I really want to dig into it, and we don't have time in this episode. So we're going to revisit that in a future episode. But before we get to that, we're going to cover the unique offering. We're going to cover systemization. So I hope that you will come back and listen to those episodes. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I would encourage you to take some time to think about who are your top clients? Who are your top clients? Do that assessment, figure out who they are based on the profit and cringe factor and all that good stuff. And I would love to hear from you. So please contact me. I would love it if you would post in the YouTube comments or message me directly, or hit me up in Instagram and tell me about your top clients. If you'd like some help figuring out who your top clients are, I can help you with that. I have some tools that I can walk you through the process of analyzing your clients to determine who your top clients are. And if you enjoyed this podcast and you found it helpful, I would love it if you would share it with another maker friend of yours, someone who might also benefit from it. And if you got something from this, I would love to hear about it. So please message me about it. And if there's anything that you would love to hear from me about as it relates to maker business, please contact me. And so until next time, keep on making stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.